This video, we're doing it for, we just want people to have information about Berkshire, right?
Yes.
Before you moved to Berkshire, you've lived in a lot of places in England.
Yeah.
You've been in England for more than 30-something years now. And you're godfather, you know, you can write a book on your knowledge of England.
Yeah.
So, for someone who doesn't know Royal Borough of Berkshire, why should they move to Berkshire?
I have to start from when the places I've been into, where I've lived in London, more especially in London. That's where I spend a lot of my time, North London. But I think it was a very difficult decision for me to move from London because I was so used to that environment. But then when I moved to Berkshire, I said, you know what? It's a new experience. Let me come and see what Berkshire is all about. And I thought, you know what? It's a great opportunity. So when I moved down here, I think I did the right decision.
Why?
In terms of the quality of life.
Okay.
In London, it's fast paced. You can't see people talking to one another, saying hello. And I was very surprised when the next day when we moved, somebody came with flowers and put them on our doorstep.
You don't get that.
You don't get that in London.
Yeah,
so it was really, very, very impressive. And I thought, you know what? Are these our flowers? But then the neighbor came out and said, welcome to Berkshire. So that was really made us to feel at home. So I think for me, one of that reason, I thought, you know what, this is the best place to live.
Okay. I think my experience is a bit similar, but I wasn't lucky enough to have flowers. Right? I think for me, I haven't lived in Newcastle.
Yeah.
I went to university in Middlesbrough. I've been to Manchester. I've been to Wales.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in this ground now for as long as you have been.
Yeah.
And why I really like Berkshire is the fact that the proximity to London.
Yeah.
You can be in London within 45 minutes. You're in Heathrow Airport.
Yeah.
And this is a royal borough. You can be in Windsor and Maidenhead.
Yeah.
You know, the Windsor Castle where the king lives.
Yeah.
You know, and the job opportunity.
Yes. And that's one of the things I wanted also to touch on, because when first of all, in London, you can see a lot of boroughs there. But the competition in terms of jobs is quite very high. You apply for a job, you get maybe 60, 70 people for one job. I'm talking about years ago. Things have changed slightly.
For the better. You never know.
I think for the worse or the better, it depends on one's experience. But I think for me, that was one of the things I thought, you know what, let me explore out. And one of the things that I realized that there are a lot of opportunities in Berkshire. And you and I, you can see the number of boroughs we have worked in, Maidenhead, Swindon, Berkshire, and it was such a privilege for us to see that within Berkshire we have almost 9 or 8 boroughs that you can access within a short distance of driving, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yes.
And I think that was for me an eye-opener for me.
Yeah.
I thought, you know what, this is a better opportunity for us to really see different experiences and also to meet people from different areas as well, because it's more like urban rural. You get some urban areas and also rural areas, which is fantastic. The other point also in terms of the schools, we have got a fantastic schools within Berkshire, and you see a lot of the comprehensive schools. You see a lot of, and the children are exposed to a number of things that I don't think in London people were getting exposed to. And my children, I think they have had one of the best opportunities to do a lot of things that I never thought we could do. So I think that was another opportunity. Job opportunity, children getting different experiences. Fantastic.
I'll add, in addition to the very valid point you said, I think what I would add to that would be security. I mean, I live in a village, right? And the children can play outside. You know, the green spaces everywhere. You know, the services, the schools, the GP centers. You know, everything is just within a close proximity. You know, it's fantastic. I think. What would you say for someone watching you in Uganda or Lagos or in America who is thinking of moving to Berkshire? What are the drawbacks, the things that that you think, oh, this thing I'm not too comfortable. I'll start. My point is, Berkshire is great, but if you are a student in Uganda or Nigeria or Ghana, thinking of coming to the UK, I think it may be a little bit too expensive.
Yes.
The average two-bedroom house here is about going for 1,200 now. You know, that's a lot of money. If you're thinking of coming to the UK for the first time, you're thinking about job and you're a student or anything, I think I can understand the attraction why a lot of people tend to migrate towards Manchester, Newcastle, because the cost of living. That's to me, that's the one of the drawbacks. What would you say is your drawback?
I think if you're moving down here, one is I would take your point where you say it's kind of expensive. But also in terms of the transportation, because in London there are so many trains, buses, you can just jump on one bus, and here it's more you're looking at villages. So the buses can finish around 5. And there are no lights every time like in London. So that may be a bit, you may end up being isolated at some point, because you think you don't have much to really access if you are not driving, if you don't have access to public transport. So those are the drawbacks I think you can experience when you live in Berkshire. But for me, I'm looking at the general perspective. What are the things that you're going to gain out of living in Berkshire? And one of them is, I think, you have access to many other opportunities for children. If you have children, if you have a family, somebody coming from Uganda, Nigeria, from America, this is where you can raise your child and you're not worried. The gangs, we don't see a lot of that, but we hear a lot of them. Though there are some issues also in terms of child exploitation, which we hear sometimes, but your children have got, as long as they know what they are doing, and you're keeping them busy, it's fantastic.
And I think one very important information that I think our viewers need to know is Berkshire has the lowest unemployment rate in England. You know, it's one of the places with the lowest unemployment rate. If in terms of jobs, you're never going to be out of job, right? If you're thinking of coming to Berkshire, one of the reasons you should come to Berkshire is job is not going to be a problem. IT Center, Reading, is regarded as the California, right, of the UK in terms of the IT jobs. A lot of the IT jobs, Vodafone, Microsoft, and a lot of these companies are here. You know, if you're a public sector worker, like you're working, you're a social worker, you're a nurse, or you're occupational therapist, the money you will get paid in Berkshire, you will not get it up north. So I think those are the benefits why, for me, Berkshire is one of the best places to live in the UK. The jobs are there, the security is there, the services for children, and green space. There are a lot of green spaces. You know, the places is green. So I think that is it.
I think the green spaces are fantastic in Berkshire. Everywhere you go, even sometimes when you're driving through, you see a lot of places and say, you know what, I didn't even know this existed. And that's the fantastic way of how you can look at life. And also my children, for instance, we go into those places where we can do some walks, and you see a lot of people walking. And I think that's something that you can't be exposed in London. In London you don't have that. It's more fast paced in London, and people keep things to themselves. Whereas here somebody will say, even if they don't know you, they say hello. That kind of warmth that comes within people, within Berkshire, I think that is an attraction in itself. And I think one of the things that we see the prospect for our children when we continue to, if we are to live in Berkshire for long and our children decide to live here, you see a lot of prospects for them.
Of course. One thing that is very, very important to mention is that we live in the southeast of England. The wealth of this country comes from the south. We are actually living in the richest part of England. The gap between Berkshire, the southeast of England, and the north is so wild. In terms of opportunity, life chances, quality of life, and everything. Don't forget, George Clooney lives in Berkshire. So it's a royal borough of Shell. So there are a lot of things that are great in Berkshire. I don't think I have anything negative to say about Berkshire. Other than the fact that it's a bit too expensive for someone that's just coming in. But other than that, it's a great place.
And I think you mentioned a lot of people who want to. You can live in London and still work in Berkshire if you want to. You know, but the opportunities you will begin to see. I had an experience, and it's good to share this. I was driving from London for a month, coming to work in Berkshire.
That experience, save that for another. We're going to do a special program where you share that experience. We're going to go now. So if you are watching this program for the very first time, be rest assured, Ishmael, my brother Ishmael and I think our experience, in terms of our experience of life in the UK, if you add the two together, it's more than 60 years.
Exactly.
So it's not like you're not talking to JJC. So we've been there, we've done it, we've got the t-shirt. So follow us. You always get update information that will help you or someone you know. Information, don't forget, knowledge, they say, is power.
Power, yes.
When you have information, the difference between someone that with information and someone that doesn't have information is just one.
Yes.
You have information, you can make
things work.
So thank you very much for following us. You're watching this video, you're in Uganda, you're in Nigeria, you're in Lagos. Now you've heard reasons why, if you're thinking of relocating to the UK, look at Berkshire, because there are a lot of opportunities. Cost of living here, it's like everyone's looking at, house prices are high. But the money you make here, you won't compare it to what you will make up north. Bro?
Yeah, thank you, Chief.
Pleasure. Thank you for coming to speak to us.
I'll be looking forward to come back again.
No problem, man. Anytime you're welcome, man. Thank you so much.